Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to discuss the 8K filed through Zion Oil and Gas on the SEC.gov website. We're going to talk about what an 8K is, what they just filed, and also my plans for today moving forward. So just to reiterate, guys, not a financial advisor. Make sure that you do your own research before investing. Also, if you find value in today's video, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content, and hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know every time we release new content. So let's dive into it, guys. So the 8K was filed by Zion Oil and Gas, and an 8K can mean a variety of different things. So we want to go ahead and dive into that first. Okay, we're going to go to an article on online that explains what an 8K is, and then we'll look at Zion Oil and Gas's 8K that was filed, and I'll link that in the description below as well if you want to take a look and read it yourself. And then of course we'll break down the charts as always to provide some insight on key support and resistance levels. Okay guys, so it says 8K, Form 8K. An 8K is a report of unscheduled material events or corporate changes at a company that can be of importance to shareholders or the Securities and Exchange Commission, known as the SEC. Also known as Form 8K, the report notifies the public of events, including acquisitions, bankruptcy, the resignation of directors, or change in the fiscal year. Key takeaways from the article: it says the SEC requires the company to file an 8K to announce significant events to relevant shareholders. Companies have 4 business days to file an 8K for most specified items. Public companies use Form 8K as needed, unlike some other forms that must be filed annually or quarterly. Form 8K is a valuable source of complete and unfiltered information for investors and researchers. So when you get all these notifications from IDEX, IQST, other companies like that that are filing press releases, this is one of the forms that they have to abide by through the SEC in order to alert their shareholders. Okay, it says an 8K is required to announce significant event to relevant shareholders. Companies usually have 4 business days to file the 8K for most specified items. Documents fulfilling regulation fair disclosure requirements may be due before 4 business days have passed. An organization must determine if the information is material and submit the report to the SEC. The SEC makes the reports available through the electronic data gathering, analysis, and retrieval platform, and that's on their SEC.gov website. The SEC outlines the various situations that require Form 8K. There are 9 sections within the investor bulletin. Each of these sections have anywhere from 1 to 8 subsections. The most recent permanent change to the Form 8K disclosures rules occurred in 2004. The benefits of the 8K. First and foremost, Form 8K provides investors with timely notification of significant changes at listed companies. Many of these changes are defined explicitly by the SEC. In contrast, others are simply events that firms consider to be sufficiently noteworthy. In any case, the form provides a way for firms to communicate directly with investors. The information provided is not filtered or altered by media organizations in any way. Furthermore, investors do not have to watch TV programs, subscribe to magazines, or even wade through financial news websites to get the Form 8K. The Form 8K also provides substantial benefits to listed companies. By filing an 8K in timely fashion, the firm's management can meet specific disclosure requirements and avoid insider trading allegations. Companies may also use Form 8K to notify investors of any events that they consider to be important. Finally, the Form 8K provides a valuable record for economic researchers. For example, academics might wonder what influence various events have on the stock prices. It is possible to estimate that the impact of these events using regressions, but researchers need reliable data. Because 8K disclosures are legally required, they provide a complete record and prevent sample selection bias. The criticism of the Form 8K, it says, like any legal paperwork, this imposes costs on businesses. There's the cost of preparing and submitting the forms, as well as possible penalties for failing to file on time. Although it is only one small part of the problem, they need to file the Form 8K The need to file Form 8K also deters small companies from going public in the first place. Requiring companies to provide the information will help investors make better choices. However, it can reduce their investment options when the burden on businesses become too high. Okay, and then this section here says the requirements for the Form 8K. The SEC requires disclosures for numerous changes relevant to a registrant's business and operations. Changes to material definitive agreement or the bankruptcy of an entity must be reported. Other financial information disclosure requirements include the completion of an acquisition, changes in a firm's financial condition, disposal activities, and substantial impairments. The SEC mandates filing an 8K for the delisting of a stock, failure to meet listing standards, unregistered sales of securities, and material modifications to shareholder rights. An 8K is required when a business changes accounting firms use for certification, changes in corporate governance, such as control of a registrant or amendments to articles of incorporation, need to be reported. Change in the fiscal year and modifications of the registrar's code of ethics must be disclosed. The SEC also requires a report upon the election, appointment, or departure of a director or specific officer. Form 8K must be used to report changes related to asset-backed securities. The form may also be used to meet regulation fair disclosure requirements. The 8K reports may be issued based on other events up to the company's discretion that the registrant considers to be of importance to shareholders. So as you see here, it kind of makes sense now, like when you see all these other events from other companies, such as, I'm going to use IDEX as an example, or IQST as an example, where they are releasing information about becoming debt-free, or they're releasing information about so-and-so is now going to be in charge of this part of the business, or like hemp, hemp did that as well. We have a new president, or we have a new whatever, some type of officer. They have to file that through the SEC and in a timely manner, and then go from there, and then they can release their press release from there. So in this case for Zion Oil and Gas, it is basically telling us about amendments regarding the articles of incorporation. So here they had to file this because they changed some amendments regarding their articles of incorporation, which we'll look at here in a second. Okay guys, so we're looking at this article here, and I'm going to again link this in the description below if you want to take a look at it. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but it's not saying anything about a press release or anything of that nature. I think that would actually probably come out after the fact of them releasing the press release. I don't think you're going to see the press release on here and then release it to the public. I think it's kind of going to be, they'll have to file it first and then have some type of simultaneously released information, I would assume. I'm not 100% on that, but in this situation, it shows that the amendment to the bylaws, and they changed some things regarding the bylaws, and like I said, I'm not going to read through all of this here. So, and that's basically what they did, is they changed some things on the bylaws and the amendments and things of that nature. So if you want to take a look at that, that's going to be linked in the description below. Feel free to click on this, read through this, dissect it, comment below on what you found, and then this here, this kind of breaks it down a little bit more, kind of easier to read. You can go through this entire section and just kind of read through. It talks a lot about just the board of directors, meeting for stockholders, stuff like that. But it's a lot to kind of go through and read. I thought maybe they would release some type of financial information or something like that, but I didn't see anything on there. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. But let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and let's see what they're telling us. Alright guys, so looking at Zion Oil and Gas, our overall tip-top ceiling right now currently is at about 80 cents, okay? And overall floor is about a little over 10.5 cents. First level of key resistance is right at about 25.5 cents, and then 37 cents, then 45, then 53.5, and then about 64 roughly, okay? We are looking like we are probably going to come down a little bit further, and then hopefully maybe we can bounce off of that you know, we could, in my opinion, probably go down to about 12.5 cents and then pop back up. But as long as we kind of stay consolidating around here, then there's a shot of maybe getting some news and pushing this back up. But as you see here, we got a little spike up to about 30 cents all the way from down to 15, and then boom, just fell right back down. So these little spikes are nice on occasion. However, we need to be able to maintain that level of the price. We got to stay above, and we're not asking for much here. We got to stay above about 22 to 23 cents and hold there in order to confirm that our price strength is kind of moving in the right direction. And until we do that, you can continuously see some downside on this. But my thing for today is I'm probably going to buy some more, and I think probably finish out my position and hold and just kind of see what happens over the next couple of weeks. It is a little nerve-wracking because as of now their license says expire in Israel on December the 2nd. However, they are in communication with the Ministry of Energy in Israel, and so I'll have to just kind of wait and see. And but you see here we are starting to cool off as far as the bearish pattern, and we could start kind of making a way back up towards a bullish pattern, but we got to get above 20 cents and hold in that aspect to actually make it worth our while. So anyway, guys, just want to provide that insight. Let me know your thoughts below. Other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.